Good morning, students. Today we see about the e-waste. What is mean by e-waste? E-waste is known as the electronic waste. Okay. In previous class we see about the solid waste management, then radioactive waste, then what are the controls and what are the methods of disposal the radioactive waste, then what is medical waste, isn't it? Okay. Today we see about the e-waste. E-waste is otherwise known as the electronic waste. It describes the discarded electronic devices as well as any refuse created by the discarded electronic device and components and substances involved in their manufacture or use. Their disposal is a growing problem because electronic equipment frequently contain the hazardous substances in a personal computer. For example, there may be a lead in computer, that is the personal computer and laptop. It contains the lead in the cathode ray tube, and soldering compound mercury in switches and housing, and cobalt in steel component, among other equally toxic substances. These substances are toxic to our human environment. For example, the personal computer contain the lead and the mercury in switches and housing, and cobalt in steel components, among other equally toxic substances. E-wastes are basically a PCP. Underline that, PCP. What is mean by PCP? PCP is a polychlorinated biphenyl. Okay, PCP is a polychlorinated biphenyl. Okay, next we see that which are based on the non-degradable. These are non-degradable. Already I said what is meant by non-degradable. Non-degradable means it cannot be break down the molecules in a natural processes. It take much more time to degrade it. Even it will be degraded, or even it will not be degraded. It take much more time to degrade that particles. That is called as the non-degradable. Once it come to the environment means it cannot be degraded. So this is called as the non-degradable. So that here the electronic waste or e-waste is the discarded electronic devices. நம்ம தேவையில்லாமல் போடக்கூடிய அந்த எலக்ட்ரானிக் பொருட்களால் உருவாகக்கூடிய அந்த இதுதான் இது e-waste. Okay, here the used electronic which are destined for reuse, resale, salvage, recycling or disposal are also considered as the e-waste. Unauthorized processing of e-waste in developing countries, recycling can lead to the adverse human health effect and environment the pollution. Recycling and disposal of e-waste may involve significant risk to the health of workers and communities in developed countries, and great care must be taken to avoid the unsafe exposure in recycling operation and leaking of materials such as heavy metal from landfills and incinerated ashes. Okay, see the figure 12.7 types of e-wastes. 12.8 types of e-wastes. What are the types of e-wastes are there? Scanners and printers, then keyboard, mouse and other electronic devices, then cell phones and tablets, then audio or video equipment. That is the in old days we use that video recorded and audio recorded, that one. Then television, monitor and laptop, then personal electronic devices like that mobile phone, then headset. These are all considered as the e-wastes. Okay, then next plastic waste and solutions and remedies. What are the, we already know that plastic waste, it is also called as the non-degradable waste. It can be take much more time to degrade the plastic items. So plastics are low molecular weight organic polymer that are non-degradable in the natural environment. They are used in several items including cars. Plastics are used in so many items. For example, car, bulletproof vest, toys, hospital equipment, carry bag and polythene cover, that is called as the carry bag, and food containers, packing material used in supermarket, then retail outlet, manufacturing industries, then household. Our house also contains so many plastic boxes are there, then hotels, hospitals, restaurants, transport companies, that water bottle, these are all under the heading of plastic waste. Plastic waste constitute a major part of a municipal solid waste. It is the major part of the municipal solid waste. So what are the remedies to control the plastic waste is first 4R. 4R means refuse, reduce, reuse and recycle. Underline that. 4R is there: refuse, reduce, reuse and recycle. Mantra is the best. 4R mantra is the best available remedy for the plastic waste pollution. Then Tamil Nadu state government successfully implemented the ban on single-use plastic from the 1st January 2019, but it cannot be fully implemented. We also use some plastic items in our home, schools, then outside places, isn't it? Yes. So plastic wastes are the plastic has the low molecular weight. It cannot be degraded in a natural environment. There are several types of plastics items are there. They give some examples. Then these remedies, what are the remedies? 4R mantra is the best available remedy for the plastic waste pollution. What is meant by 4R? Refuse, reduce, recycle. So refuse, reduce, reuse and recycle. This is the 4R mantra, is the best available remedy for the plastic waste pollution. Next we see about the global environment change. Global environment change. Sorry, that is not in your portion. Next we see about the Ecological toilet. Okay, next we see about the Ecological toilet. What is meant by Ecological toilet? Ecological toilet is water. In addition to water, it is less amount of water will be used in this type of toilet. So this is called as the Ecological toilet. About 150 liters of wastewater at an average is generated by an Indian individual daily. Every Indian individual use 150 liters of wastewater, and a large amount of it is generated from toilet. Yes, isn't it? About on account of these 150 liters of wastewater, we used most for the toilet purposes. Then ecological sanitation, that is called as the Eco-Shan, is a sustainable system for handling the human excreta by using the dry composting toilet. Ecological toilet not only reduce the wastewater generation but also generate the natural fertilizer from recycled human excreta, which forms an excellent substitute for the chemical fertilizer. This method is based on the principle of recovery and recycling of nutrients from the excreta to create a valuable supply for the agriculture. Ecological toilets are being used in several parts of India and Sri Lanka. Did you see that one movie is also come this kind of toilet they used, that Kapan movie? In that movie they use that Ecological toilet, that human excreta is converted into the fertilizer for the environment. So it is a natural fertilizer, that human excreta will be recycled and it converted into the natural fertilizer for the environment. In substitute of the chemical fertilizer, they use this kind of fertilizers. It is very much helpful for the it give very much nutrient to the plants. So this kind of fertilizers will be very much helpful for the agriculture also, and it also reduce the more amount of water used for toilet. Okay, so this is called as the Ecological toilet. This Ecological toilets are used nowadays also used in India and Sri Lanka. So these are the lessons that are environmental issues. These are the headings that comes under the lessons of environmental issues. Okay, today we see about the plastic waste solutions and remedies, and what is meant by e-waste. E-waste means electronic waste, that waste that come under that remote, then chip, then motherboard, then soldering board, then personal computer wastes, then scanners, then keyboard, mouse, headset. These are all come under the electronic wastes. It is a non-degradable pollutant. It is a non-degradable pollutant because it exits these e-wastes are basically a PCB. PCB means polychlorinated biphenyl. So it is a non-degradable. It cannot be degraded in a natural way. It is a non-degradable process. It leads to the adverse human health effect and the environmental pollution. If recycling and disposal of this e-waste may involve significant risk to the health of the workers and communities in developing countries, and great care must be taken to avoid this unsafe exposure in recycling operations and leaking of materials such as the heavy metal from the landfills. Then next we see about the plastic waste. Already I said plastics have the low molecular weight, so it is also a non-degradable. It take much more time to degrade it, so that it is a non-degradable pollutant. It causes severe damage to the environment because it is a non-degradable product, so it causes a severe damage to the environment. When we burn this type of plastic waste, it give harmful effects to the human health. Then next we see about the in plastic waste, it contain one remedy, that is the 4R mantra. What is meant by 4R? Refuse, reduce, reuse and recycle. This is the best available remedy for the plastic waste pollution. Then next, the Tamil Nadu state government successfully implemented the ban on a single use of plastic from the 1st January 2019, but it cannot be implemented properly. Still now also we use some plastic in our house. Okay. Next we see about the Ecosan toilet. Ecosan toilet is the water-free toilet. About 150 liters of wastewater can be used in day-to-day life in every individual. Out of that 150, most part of water is used for the toilet purposes. So instead of this more usage of water, we avoid this more usage of water. We introduce the Ecosan toilet, not only for avoiding the less amount of water. It is also, this type of toilet is also used for the very much helpful for the agriculture, because here the human excreta is converted into the fertilizer, natural fertilizer. It is recycled. This human excreta can be recycled and it is converted into natural fertilizer. So it is very much helpful for the environment. It is still used in the India and Sri Lanka. Many part of India and Sri Lanka use this kind of Ecosan toilet. Okay. In this lesson we see about the pollutant, then what are different kinds of pollutions are there, then what are the classifications of pollutant. Pollutant is classified into two types. What are they? Degradable pollution and non-degradable pollution. Then degradable pollution is further classified into two types. One is rapidly degradable and another one is slowly degradable pollution. The next we see about the the wastewater management. Then before we see that wastewater management, eutrophication is there. What is that? Eutrophication means that nutrients that reaches the lake, then the lake produces a dense growth of plants, and here the two stages are there. One is oligotrophic stage and another one is oligotrophic stage and another one is mesotrophic stage. In oligotrophic stage, here the lake water is cold and will be clear. Then it support the little life. Little life means it support the small living organisms. Then the next we see about the mesotrophic stage. In this mesotrophic stage, here that lake introduce the nutrients such as the nitrate and phosphate, which encourage the growth of this. Nitrate and phosphate encourages the growth of some aquatic organisms. Okay, next we see about the wastewater treatment. Here the wastewater treatment consists of three basic steps. First one is primary treatment, secondary treatment and tertiary treatment. The primary treatment is otherwise known as the physical process, and the secondary treatment is otherwise known as the biological process, and the tertiary treatment, the finalmost treatment, is otherwise known as the chemical process. In physical process, that is the primary treatment, it involves the two method. What are they? Filtration and sedimentation. By using this method, the sewage water contains some some dust particles and some floating debris and some small bubbles. These are removed by using this method of filtration and sedimentation process. Next we see about the secondary treatment, that is the biological process. In this biological process, that sewage water is carried into the the sewage water is carried into the aerated tank. In that tank, anaerobic tank, in that anaerobic tank, one kind of bacteria is there. That bacteria digests the bacteria and fungi in the sludge. During this digestion, the bacteria produce a mixture of gases such as the methane, hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide. Then these gases form the biogas, and finally it can be used as a source of energy. Then the last treatment, that is the tertiary treatment, or otherwise known as the chemical process. In this treatment, here the final process, it improves the quality of water by using the UV radiation. The other inorganic compound and chemical substances are removed from the sewage water. So this is the wastewater management. Okay, next we see about the organic farming and its implementation and the solid waste management. Then one scientist, agricultural scientist G. Namalwar, he encouraged the organic farming in the hundreds of farmers. Then Ahmed Ismail is an Indian soil biologist and ecologist from the Tamil Nadu. Then next we see about the radioactive wastes. What is the radioactive waste? What is meant by radioactive waste? That waste that come from the nuclear power plant, that is called as the radioactive waste. Then what is the radioactive waste management? Then what are the methods of disposal of these radioactive wastes? That four kinds are there. Four methods are there. First one is limit generation, then dilute and disperse, then delay and decay, then concentrate and confine process. Then what are the controls and management to the disposal of this radioactive waste management? What are the three controls are there, three ways are there: spent fuel pools, then vitrification method, geological repositories. Three methods are there, three ways are there. Then the medical waste. Medical waste means that waste that come from the hospitals, then laboratories, then pharmaceutical center, then medical research center, then veterinary clinic. These are come under the heading of these medical wastes. What are the medical wastes are there? Syringes, then urine bag, napkin, then diapers. These are all. Then that glucose bottles, then tablet waste. These are all come under the heading of this medical waste. Then what is the management to control this medical waste? Is the safe and sustainable management of biomedical waste is the social and legal responsibilities of the people that working in the healthcare center. Then waste disposal. Then next we see about the e-waste. E-waste means electronic waste. These waste is for example that what are the wastes are there? That lead batteries, then cathode ray tube, then soldering compound, mercury in switches. These are all come under the heading of these e-wastes. These are toxic to our environment. Then these e-wastes are basically called as the PCB. That is what is meant by PCB? Polychlorinated biphenyl. These are all non-degradable wastes. Non-degradable means it cannot be degraded very easily, take much more time to degrade it. So it is a non-degradable pollutant. Then these causes harmful effects to the human and environment. Then plastic waste solutions and remedies. What are the plastic wastes are there? Here the plastics are low molecular weight organic polymer that are non-degradable in the natural environment. The plastic, already I said, plastic has a low molecular weight. Then these remedies consist of 4 R mantra: refuse, reduce, reuse and recycle is the best available remedy for the plastic waste pollution. Then our government implemented the ban of a single use of plastic from 1st January 2019. Then finally we see about the EcoSan toilet. This toilet is very much helpful for the agricultural purpose also. Okay. because here the human excreta is converted into the natural fertilizer. So this is very much helpful for reducing the water management, and also it is very much helpful for the natural agricultural. Okay students, so this lesson will be finished. So zoology 12 lesson completed. Now you have the you only started to study all the lessons. Already you studied 9 lesson 1 words, then you started to study the next, then you started to study the first 2 lessons, 2 mark 3 mark questions. Okay students, study the 2 mark 3 mark question, interior questions also you study. Don't waste the time. Okay, thank you students.